Don has been out here working really hard for 6:15 in the morning. He had the power washer out and knocked the pollen off Ruby, and she's shining this morning, Donnie.
Yeah, she's you know, that power washer does a good job knocking off that light stuff.
Yep. Thank you.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Ruby's got a software update this morning. You want to press on it, Johnny? Yep, so I'm gonna set it for when I come back. Let's just say 9:30 a.m. set for this time. We are on time making our way into downtown this morning. We should get Johnny over to the school with just a few minutes to spare. It went down to 31 last night. It was quite chilly. It's currently 37 out there. Glad to see the sun coming up this morning. Should be a pretty day, although tomorrow and Friday are supposed to be even nicer. Have a good day, buddy. I'll see you this afternoon.
All right, bye.
Bye. Love you.
Love you too.
I always enjoy Ruby's shadow when the light is directly behind the car. She looks pretty tough. It's a pretty blue Model 3 behind me this morning. I am here at the Apex Walmart this morning in my search for more Hot Wheels and close enough Walmarts to go in and check out. This is only the second time I've ever been to this Walmart. You know, with one in Fuquay, one in Garner, and one in Holly Springs, all of which are closer. There's not really much reason to come over here. My goodness, check out this fancy pickup thing here. Wow. Well, my first impression is that this display hasn't been refilled in a while. I don't see any 2019 cars, and I see a lot of 50th anniversary cars from last year. Now the question is, where else are there Hot Wheels in this store? So there are some new Corel patterns out. They show up at Walmart first, and then later they show up at Guardian Angel. I kind of like this one. But when I can get them for less than $1 a piece, I'm not going to pay $3.50 a piece for them. I got the kitty items you would have expected me to get, and I picked up a few Easter egg dyeing kits and loaded my stuff up in this cool box that I think the cats will have fun with. I ended up talking to the new department head of the toy department over there, and I asked him, okay, so where are all the rest of the Hot Wheels cars in this store hiding? Because usually there's the main on the shelf display, and then there's an end cap, and then sometimes there's some boxes with Hot Wheels dumped in. And he said, that's all we got. So they literally have like, I don't know, 40 Hot Wheels at that store. And I was like, really? Are you sure there's not any in the back? There's not a box somewhere else? He says, no. He said he might add some more later on. He's just taking over that department and trying to get things the way they're supposed to be, and then when he gets it under control, he'll add some stuff. I thought it was all nice. I mean, the shelves, it looked organized and everything. It didn't look like a mess to me. It just looked like they didn't have a lot of Hot Wheels. So anyway, he assured me there were none hiding in the back or anywhere else in the store, and I mostly believed him. Although as I looked at all the clearance and walked around the store, I did still keep an eye out, but I didn't see anything else. So yeah, so it wasn't a good find for Hot Wheels today at this store, but I did grab some cat food and grab a few other items and enjoy looking. My checkout experience was mixed. You know, the people at Fuquay, they all know me, so if I come up with a big case of cat food, we've already had the, are you sure those are all exactly the same can? Because you know you can't ring up the wrong UPC with the wrong can. And of course, they came over just to double check I wasn't messing up their inventory control system. Which I wasn't, because my cats only pretty much like poultry platter, so if I had a can that wasn't poultry platter, that probably really wouldn't be good. Maybe there's a few other flavors they would like. I haven't tried them all, but I know that's a sure thing without taking home any more that nobody wants. So any rate, it's a nice store, but I probably won't be back again soon, at least not looking for Hot Wheels.
Kitty, are you happy with your new box?
I know nighttime's happy your mama's home. So Dawn was watching more videos this morning on LFTR, or liquid fluoride thorium reactors. That's right. He was worried I was going to mess it up. I wasn't going to mess it up. I used to have to deal with acronyms all day long. So after he listened to the video this morning, I've been on a rampage cleaning the house. I didn't sit down for 2 hours. No nap today. No nap. Don gave me an earful of information about the latest videos that he watched this morning, and I decided that since he gave me an earful, he should also give you an earful. Right. Take it away.
So, yeah, and of course, you know, I wish I could cite perfect sources and the scientific, and I can't, because I'm just giving you a layman's interpretation of a very deep subject matter. You know, the thing is climate change. I mean, that's what we're trying to mitigate. We want to reduce CO2 entering the atmosphere so that we can stop at a minimum climate change, and you know, under ideal circumstances, maybe we could reverse it in some way. And you know, solar power and solar panels are good, and that's a positive thing. But solar power isn't going to stop. It's too little, too late. I mean, if we're thinking that we've got 2050, you know, we're going to be over 400 parts per million or something like that, and then the end of the century we're going to be at, you know, climate change at 450 or something. You know, it's getting worse, and I don't think we can deploy enough solar that quickly. You have to understand that solar, there's a lot of energy that's used on the earth. When we talk about energy, it isn't just electricity. You know, there is the petroleum, and of course electric cars help with that. But bottom line is that I think we are approaching climate change sort of like a, you know, we're just putting a Band-Aid on it. You know, just we're doing those little small things that they're helpful, but they're not going to fix the problem. And we got to hit it with a bigger hammer. And that's where liquid fluoride thorium reactors is a realistic, deployable solution. You know, there's no other form of energy that can produce energy 24/7, you know, year in, year out, sustainable than nuclear. I mean, obviously the sun is intermittent, you know, it's dark half the day, but we could come up with batteries and things of that, but they're expensive. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is I've listened to several scientists who pretty much explained that, you know, we're not taking big enough chunks out of the carbon to really do any significant change or mitigate the damage. Like I said, solar panels in and of itself is not going to be enough. It's a little too late. So anyway, I guess what I've done is I've sort of totally came around. I looked at fusion, because that was the big thing, is the advantage in theory of fusion nuclear reactors. There's fission and there's fusion. The reactors that are currently making electricity today are all some form of fission reactors. The liquid fluoride thorium reactor is a fission reactor because it splits the atom. Scientists are working on something called a fusion reactor, where we take two hydrogen atoms and we smash them together really fast, and it turns it into helium. And the product, one of the outputs of that is this intense energy release. But you know, there's a lot of problems with fusion, and I will just sum it up to say the wives' tale that, you know, fusion has been the future and it's always been 50 years off. It's still 50 years away. I saw a very good YouTube video that I'll put a link to, and again, this gentleman could be wrong. You know, he he may have made all this up. But basically, at this point, there is some minor progress in fusion reactors. However, it is basically stagnated. They decided that the fusion reactors are not big enough. They need bigger reactors. So a consortium of countries, including the United States, France, England, all the big first world countries have decided that they're going to build this really big fusion research center in France, and it's underway. But here's the kicker. It's not scheduled to open, if it opens on time, until 2035. And of course, they still haven't perfected fusion, the containment and sustainability, the energy model. There's a lot of the yet to be done. So even if the first day in 2035, this big fusion reactor obtains fusion, there's still horrendous amounts of engineering and commercialization required. This is probably going to take another 30 years. So I mean, fusion is the end of this century at the earliest, is what I'm saying, if everything just goes great. Well, I don't know that we've got to I don't think we can waste time. Of course, remember, maybe the first fusion reactor can be deployed at the end of this century, but you don't need one. One fusion reactor is not going to solve the problem. You're going to have to build hundreds, probably thousands, maybe tens of thousands of these reactors all over the place. So, it takes time to deploy that. So I just don't see fusion. If you're going to wait for fusion to solve the problem, I don't see it. On the other hand, something like the liquid fluoride thorium reactor, which is technology that is already, all the science, all the theory is all in place. There are some engineering problems, what metals can take the heat, how big, what's the most efficient size, what's the really efficiency. There's a lot of little details, and I'm going to point to a video that goes into that. But it's deployable right now. I mean, if somebody all of a sudden could just say, hey, let's take the negative context of nuclear energy out of the picture, and we're going to go nuclear. If you could just snap your fingers, you probably could have a thorium reactor online by 2030, and you could be scaling these up literally 50, 75 years ahead of fusion. So I think that I don't believe that we have time enough to deploy renewables at the scale and that we need to do to really mitigate climate change. The only hope that we've got to take care of climate change is we're going to have to find some other way that's sustainable and clean and safe to produce the energy that we require. And at this point, the only thing that looks like it's anywhere close to providing that would be the lifter, the liquid thorium, a liquid fluoride thorium reactor. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. I now kind of schooled myself up. Bill Gates is into liquid metal reactors, but there are some inherent problems there. They're not as close as thorium reactors. So if you're thinking that modular liquid metal reactors are closer, based on what I've seen, although they have maybe a little bit better funding source through Gates. Right now, the funding for thorium reactors or lifters most of it's occurring in China. But it's okay with me if China solves the problem, because it's our planet, it's theirs too. So when they save it for them, they're going to save it for us. So hopefully, people will wake up and reconsider. And I guess that's what I'd like to leave you with, is the nuclear energy that I'm speaking about is not your dad or your granddad's nuclear energy. Please do not put the burden of that atomic bomb producing nuclear energy solution that we have, or what we think about, with the other forms of nuclear energy. Nuclear energy can be very safe, and I'd just like, you know, go revisit it, and Marianne's going to point to in the description a couple videos that I found very helpful.
I am late leaving to get to the school because when I get in that I want to get stuff done mood, it's hard for me to stop doing. I've got a donation for Guardian Angel in the back and there's something rattling. I'm going to have to hurry today. I'm going to have to pay attention and pass people and get in the left lane and, you know, like really focus on my driving. It is so pretty out here, but don't let it fool you. It's only 57. It's a little chilly for short sleeves. I spy a Model X. Well, congratulations on being on the AB honor roll again, buddy.
Thank you, Mom.
We celebrated with a frosty limeade, key lime frosted thing at Chick-fil-A today. Johnny and I have pulled in here to the Harris Teeter parking lot in Fuquay. I usually get my first butterfly picture of the year on these Yoshino cherry trees right after they open up, but yeah, it's only 59 degrees out there and it's a little breezy. I'm thinking it's not quite warm enough. I've seen one swallowtail this year, so I know some have emerged, but yeah, I'm thinking it's too cold, but I'm gonna go down the line and look. Might get lucky. So Ruby's now at 2019.8.3, up from 2018.50.6. I think that was the prior release. So that's pretty current now, I think. The update went on this morning with no problems. I was just in such a rush to go get Johnny because I was running a little late that I didn't have time to report on it in the driveway then. So I've had it happen before when I press on release notes that it comes up blank. I'm going to try rebooting the center console and see if it makes a difference. I know they're not really blank. It's just that sometimes they don't load. Initially, after the reboot, it was also blank, and then the release notes actually popped up. So I now have auto steer stoplight warning. Your car may warn you in some cases if it detects that you are about to run a red light while auto steer is in use. This is not a substitute for an attentive driver and will not stop the car. And I have dog mode. And it says minor improvements and bug fixes. So for a Model X at Autopilot 2.0, this is what we got. It talks about in previous releases blind spot, collision warning chime, auto folding mirrors based on location, navigate on autopilot beta. Now I think I don't remember us having auto folding mirrors based on location, but I get that that was in some prior release. It says your car can now automatically fold and unfold the side mirrors based on location. Controls, quick controls, fold and select, always fold mirrors at this location. So controls, quick controls, there's this new fold button up here. And if I wanted to, I could click always fold mirrors at this location. I don't think that this is that useful for us because personally, while I might always want the mirrors folded on the way into the garage, on the way out of the garage, I'm actually using the mirrors tilted down when I'm in reverse to look at how close I am to the two doors, at least until the back of the car is across the garage opening. So, you know, if it would always fold them or always unfold them isn't sort of what I would want. I want them when I'm in drive at this location, I want them out, and when I'm in drive at this location, I want them in, and when I'm in reverse at this location, I want them out. Don says he doesn't use the mirrors when he's backing up. He's using the center screen or the rear view mirror or whatever, but I use the side mirror, so we won't be turning that on for our home location. It's a good idea though, and I'm sure some people are making use of it. It just, I don't personally find it helpful. So I'll have to look on Tesla 5, but to be clear, we were still on a 2018 software update, and now today we're finally, I say finally, on a 2019 software update. It really, I don't think we've had a release this year, or we had the one release, but it was really from last year. It just hadn't rolled out to us yet. So we're off the pace on the 19 software updates that we had last year. They would have to really start churning them out pretty quick here for us to catch up with that, the fast-paced updates that we had last year. Don has this saying, all contributions are appreciated. Like, you know, if we get a check in the mail for $1.50, he'll say that. All software updates are appreciated, enjoyed, and anticipated. So not complaining about it, just making a note that there's been less so far this year. But we love new software updates. Apparently Consumer Reports doesn't. But I think most Tesla owners, we're like waiting for the very next one. So we love them. Are you going for your run?
Yeah.
You should enjoy it today.
Yeah, it's good.
It's just a bit nippy, but once you, by the time you're at the stop sign, you'll be good.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Podcast all loaded up and all ready to go.
All right. Well, you have fun, sort of.
Yeah.
Go knock her out.
I will.
So Don's out here doing what he couldn't quite finish this morning. Right now he's focusing on the wheels, but I can tell that he's worked on a lot of the car. It looks good, Donnie.
Yeah, I've you know, that O&R works good. Or well, I'm now using the Wolfgang version of the O&R, and it's, other than it smells like bubble gum, it works about the same.